Sama, now her story is a tale of its own. Her story began when Uncle Saeed the doorman went to marry her and brought her from their hometown. By the way, her husband, Uncle Saeed the doorman, is around 50 years old or maybe even older. He was married to someone else before, and he had 2 kids with her. But sadly, his wife got that terrible illness and got sick, and she passed away. His wife used to go around working in the apartments, cleaning the stairs, always helping my mother, and running her errands. Anyway, she passed away. After she died, Uncle Saeed found himself unable to handle all the chores on his own. Because of course he was the one carrying the burden of the whole building, its requests, and everything it needed. His first wife used to help him out a bit. She was the one who served the building, ran errands, and cleaned the stairs. But after that, everything fell on him. So he asked for a month leave, saying he was going back to his hometown to get married. Sure enough, 3 weeks went by, and we saw him arrive with his new wife. And of course, when he got married, everyone was incredibly happy. Everyone was happy because at first there was no one to help out, run errands, serve them, and look after the building's needs. But when he married this woman named Sama, everything was resolved. She started running errands and even helping my mother and getting her whatever she needed. Anyway, I was very curious and wanted to see who this woman was who married someone who wasn't exactly young. But what I heard from the neighbors was that he went and married someone young from his hometown. The woman he married is about 36 years old. I thought, who would agree to a marriage like that? I found out he married a woman named Sama. Sama had been married before and was divorced. She was divorced because her first husband couldn't have children. He also said that he wanted to have a child himself, so he married her. Anyway, he had 2 kids and he sent them to his hometown to learn and continue their education. Since back in his hometown, the upper Egyptian countryside, things are a bit cheaper and schools are affordable, unlike where we live. So he figured he'd send them off to save on expenses and have more money for his new marriage. Anyway, she started working and going up to the apartments. My mother, of course, didn't leave Sama alone. My mother is the type who has a lot of requests. She loved making Sabrine come up whenever she needed her. When Sabrine got used to the apartment, would go down to get her things from the supermarket and go to the market and go to the market. If my mother was feeling sick, Sama would wash all the dishes for her. But honestly, Sama turned out to be a hardworking girl and beautiful at the same time. And she doesn't seem uneducated either. One time I was talking to her, I asked her, how far did you get in your education? She told me, I have a diploma, Mr. Khalid. I'm not uneducated. I said, really, a diploma? If you don't mind me asking, what made you marry someone much older than you? And he's supposedly uneducated too. Ignorant, didn't go to school. And you? I mean, you should have married someone educated at your level. Or at least just a little bit below you. She replied to me, honestly, it was circumstances. I'm a divorcee and I didn't have the freedom of choice. They told me that they forced me into something like that. And anyway, it didn't really matter. Better a man's shadow than a wolf's shadow, as they say in the Proverbs. I said, all right. And whenever I'd go or come, I'd see her on the stairs. I'd say, how are you, Sama? How are things? She'd reply, how are you, Mr. Khalid? Of course, I told her right away that we didn't need to be formal anymore. I mean, no more titles between us. We've gotten used to each other now. No. Anyway, she was always visiting my mom, but I always noticed looks in her eyes. Strange looks. Sometimes admiration, sometimes sad looks. One time I caught that glint of admiration in her eyes. Yes. I could see it in her eyes. I went, hide it from you. She was very pretty. And pretty when she wears the black abaya. Honestly, I really liked that look. One day, my mom got news that her sister back in our hometown was sick and she had to travel to help her. She said, listen, I'm going for a couple of days to your aunt's. Will you come with me? I said, no, I'm busy with university work and studies. She said, all right, there's food in the fridge, and if you need anything, tell Sama, she'll get it for you immediately and take care of your requests. Those couple of days passed, then 2 or 3, to the point that a week went by. Now, I'll tell you what happened during those days. Of course, everything I needed, I would always call her, so she would get me everything. She'd bring me lunch and she knew what we usually get. And there were specific places for vegetables my mom bought from. She knew exactly where to get things. I mean, I called her several times, and she, of course, had the key. So she'd enter, put things in the kitchen, wash them and organize them in the fridge because she was so comfortable in the house in a strange way. One time, she was doing that. I came in a bit later. I walked in behind her as I was coming home. I found her in the kitchen, but she had taken off her abaya and was standing there freely, and was standing there. Anyway, she looked behind her suddenly and found me right in front of her. I found that she was startled like that. I told her, "What's wrong? What startled you?" She said, "No, nothing. It's just, well, Mr. Khalid." I told her, "Didn't we agree not to use Mr. anymore?" She said, "I'm sorry. I thought you didn't come at this time." I told her, "Well, what's the problem? Finish your work at your own pace. I'm going in to sleep a little." And indeed, she finished and came to me. She said, "Do you want anything else? I've set the food for you and everything is ready." I said to her, "You're done. Why don't you sit with me for a while?" I felt that she wanted to, to sit, but she didn't want to show that feeling. As you might say, her feet were taking one step forward and taking one step back. I told you what? Go in and make us 2 cups of tea and come sit with me so we can chat. You look bored and you want to talk. And she actually said just that. With pleasure. She went inside the kitchen and made us 2 cups of tea. We sat together and talked. I learned about her circumstances. I learned her situation that she is, as I told you, divorced. I also learned that she isn't happy with her husband because he's an old man, and she is still in the prime of her youth. So what would force her into that? I learned how much she is in need, and she was also deprived of many things. I noticed her looks like that, and I of course exchanged looks with her in the middle of our talk. These looks weren't ordinary looks, not even looks of admiration. These were looks of love and need for many things. Anyway, we were talking while sitting together on the couch, until our feelings reached their peak along with our gazes. We got up together and fell into what you understand. What I noticed about her was that she was very responsive, and she too, which made me reciprocate her looks and her feelings with me. I mean, I felt that she was truly in need, and that she was the one who needed this. It was clear to me then. And we went into the room, and how happy I was that day. How beautiful a feeling I felt. We sat together for maybe an hour and a half. She got up, and just as she was about to say, or rather I was about to tell her, "Don't be upset with me," she said to me, "By the way, I'm not upset. I was in need of something like this." Of course, I was very surprised by her words. I was surprised that she was telling me this. So when she saw me looking surprised at her reply, she said, "Don't be surprised." She said, "Don't be surprised. When a woman reaches her limit, she might do a lot of things like me." I admit that I get weak, and you must have noticed that about me for a while. I felt from her words as if I were talking to a doctor or an engineer. Her speech was strange. It was very cultured, because she knows, as I told you, she likes to read. And she has a degree too, so she knows everything. Anyway, I liked the situation with her. During the week, my mother stayed. She would come up to me every day for an hour or an hour and a half, making it look like she was getting supplies from my mother, because her husband also didn't know that my mother had traveled to her home country, and so on, and so on. So she would come up and pretend that she was cleaning up the place for me, and she would even prepare food for me. The problem started when my mother came, and the last time she looked at me, I could tell she wanted me around all the time. We started thinking about where we could meet. We didn't know where to meet. We agreed that I would meet her on the stairs once. I met her once on the stairs. I agreed with her that when her husband was out or running errands far away, I would meet her in the room under the stairs next to the elevator. And indeed, whenever her husband would go out or when the time and place permitted us to meet, we would meet in the room downstairs. No one knows anything about it. No one visits it, of course, except for her husband, and she keeps an eye out for that, and she keeps an eye out for that. One day, while I was with her in that room under the stairs, that small room next to the elevator, I was inside it. We suddenly found her husband standing right over us. Of course, the man, Uncle Said, her husband, when he saw that scene, he didn't even have a chance to do anything at all. He fell and went silent without a word. Of course, I got dressed quickly at that moment, and we pretended that everything was normal, as if it were just a man who entered his apartment and collapsed and went completely silent. He surely died. He died from the shock. But of course, it's not our fault. And she pretended that she had returned to clean the room and saw him standing there like that. And so she started screaming that the man had died, and that he died a natural death. The man died, of course, and as you might say, the coast was clear for her, and she kept wanting me to come down to her all the time. The room was now finally empty. But the problem is that I carry the guilt of the man who died, and it's a great guilt. But she doesn't even care. She keeps coming and talking to me as well. The ghost is clear for her now that the room is empty, and she wants me to go and sit with her. But between you and me, I felt that this woman is not a good person, because she has no heart. She wasn't even affected by the death of her husband. I am upset with her, and I just want to stay away from her, and I am also ashamed of what I did. And I feel God's anger upon me. I just want to get away from her. I don't want to see her again, but I don't know what to do. I don't know how I can try to get her away from me. This woman is not good at all, and she might even cause me problems, and if my family found out I was doing something like this, they would definitely kick me out of the house. and they would disown me. So I don't know what to do and how to act. I have opened my heart and told you the story so you can help me and tell me what to do and how to handle this. I'm a young man still at the beginning of my life, and what I did was a mistake, and I realize that I am wrong, and I am the one who caused the death of this man, and I pray to God to forgive me. May God forgive me and pardon me for what I have done, but it will remain a sin that I still carry on my shoulders. I want to seek God's forgiveness and perform umrah and get away from that woman, but I don't know how to do all that. I wish you would advise me and pray for me and tell me what to do and how to act, and pray for me that God accepts my repentance and that God forgives me. And please pray for me. I am in dire and absolute need for you to pray for me. I consider you all my brothers and sisters, and I am like any young man, still small and still at the beginning of life. Surely one can make mistakes, follow the devil, and the devil is cunning and tricks you, so please don't forget me in your prayers. I wish you would pray for my well-being, and I am waiting for all your opinions and all your comments.